Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, you ready? I'm ready too.
Let's do it.
Okay, Flobo, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Matt. You know, what I like about film festivals like this is being able to sit and chat with the movers and shakers and the creators of these projects. So always a privilege.
Yeah, 2021 Paris Art and Movie Awards. Sorry. 2021 Paris Art and Movie Awards, 11th edition. It's been more than 10 years we've been supporting and promoting filmmakers. And tonight we are talking about The Enormity of Life, which is a magnificent, beautiful movie, feature film from America. And we have the cast and director with us. Without further ado, Flobo, let's welcome Breckin Meyer. Breckin, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very good. Welcome, awesome. Emily Kinney. How are you doing, Emily?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
And the director of the movie, Eric Swinderman. Did I say that? Pronounce that well?
Yes.
You said it really cool. It sounded like he's a superhero.
Eric
Swinderman.
Eric Swinderman.
Or it's like Slenderman.
We have a sequel already.
A good one.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. We're very happy to have you for this Q&A about The Enormity of Life. We discussed just a little bit before backstage. You already know, guys, we loved the movie. We selected the movie. This is, if I'm not wrong, this is the European premiere of the film, Eric, correct?
It is, yes, absolutely.
We are very happy and proud to have this type of movies in Paris for the PAMA. And we're going to dive in. We're going to discuss the movie, the characters, the story, everything. First question is going to be for Breckin and for Emily. It's been a while that movie has been made, has been filmed. I mean, it's how it works. You write a film, you film it, and then you have the post-production, the editing, and it takes a long time before the movie comes out. Why is that this movie is so important for you guys that you are taking time today to talk about it and support it? What makes that movie special for you?
I think, Emily, you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, I think that I had such a wonderful time working on the film with Breckin and with Eric, and I think that Eric is such a great writer, and I can see how important it is to him and how much of himself he's put into this movie, and even just the city of Cleveland, how excited they are. And I think like their excitement has definitely inspired me. And I just had such a nice time working on the film. And, you know, you do so many things as an actor that people don't get to see, and so to have the opportunity to get your work seen is great. So I always want to support
it's always
that.
Great. Yeah, and that it's really a Cleveland. There's a Cleveland stamp on that movie. We're gonna talk about it later. Breckin, what about you? Why is that movie standing out in any way? I know you're executive producer on it, so it must mean something to you. But why is that movie cool?
I don't know if I would describe it as. Well, I guess it could be described as cool in certain ways, but you know, it was definitely a departure for me from what I've normally done for the most part, and I think it was a departure for everybody, honestly, with this character and with this relationship that you get in this movie, and dealing with mental illness and dealing with it on a variety of different levels. And truly, one of the reasons, obviously, why I think Emily and I and Eric and everyone stays involved with it through this process, because it does take a while from script to screen, so to speak. And with independent films, even more so. There are so many more obstacles. There are so many more stumbling blocks, whether it's, honestly, Eric and I were just talking, whether it's music rights, whether it's locations, whether it's a logo on your shirt. Studios have the ability to go, oh, okay, they're upset with that. Great. We write a check and it's the end of it. But with independent films, it's brick and mortar. It is blood, sweat, and tears, and it's the love of the game that you're there for. Nobody's getting rich off this movie. That wasn't the reason for anyone doing it. It was really for the love of this script that Eric so beautifully wrote and so beautifully directed, obviously, as well. And to work with, I was a fan of Emily's work. I didn't know Giselle, and I was
Sweet.
completely blown away by Giselle. I think everybody was.
Yeah, Giselle is the little girl in the
little
film.
girl who plays Jules, yeah. And but with independent films, you know, you got to push a little harder. I mean, after when you're done with the movie, you got to stay on top of it, and you have to stay on top of everybody because there's so many cooks in the kitchen, and so it's so delicate.
Well, this question here is for Eric, a writer and director of the piece. And a lot of times I would say Blockbuster. I'm just dating myself. But let's say you're producing Netflix, and you could probably tell what a movie is just by looking at the title. But the enormity of life is complex, like the issues within. Well, how would you explain it? What does the enormity of life mean? How does it relate to you? How did it feel with the script?
You know, when you're writing a script like this and you're dealing with a lot of the issues that this movie deals with. You know, it wasn't really our intention. It wasn't my intention. I'm going to write a movie about gun violence, a movie about suicide. Original premise, pretty simple. I was pretty heavily influenced by Harold and Maude. And, you know, I wanted to do a kind of a dark comedy, and it just kind of evolved into what it did. You know, Giselle's character sort of led the way of where the movie was going to go, because when we kind of came up with this quirk about her being obsessed with guns, we didn't set out to make a movie that was about, you know, a political statement or anything like that, because I'm not a psychologist. I don't, know about, any more than what I researched when we were writing it. But we just wanted to make something that said something and set itself apart and couldn't be defined by a genre. Like speaking of Blockbuster, I always say, like, if you went into a Blockbuster and looked for this movie, they wouldn't know which shelf to put it on, right? Comedy, drama. And those are the kind of movies I always really gravitate towards, are movies that are hard to define.
And that's exactly the feeling I had when I started watching the movie, because the movie, for me, except of the suicide part, the beginning of the movie is kind of a comedy. You have the plastic bag, have a nice day. The way you direct the situations with the guy, the notary, coming out of the office with the pants undone and everything. You feel that the character is struggling, that it's supposed to be sad, but still it's made as a comedy. So that mix, that blend of genres was, again, pretty cool to me, because I like when you mix that. Emily, did you feel that reading the script? Could you feel the bits and pieces from the comedy, the bits and pieces from the drama, and how it was going to go down?
I did. It was one of the things that I loved the most about the script, and what attracted me to this character was all the conversations that my character has with Casey, and just the sort of comedy, but then the weight of what both of these characters are dealing with. And I feel like real life is that way. There's so many, we try to laugh when we're going through something difficult. We make jokes about it. Life is so absurd, but also difficult. And I'm really attracted to scripts that have both, because real life has all of those things. Even like something that has stuck with me is the beginning of this script. When Casey and Jess first meet at the diner, and him saying like that he didn't even notice that they were neighbors. They didn't even notice each other, or that he was like, oh yeah, I don't know that we, live down the hall from each other. But and that's so funny, but it's presented in this sort of funny way, but it's also sort of like, wow, this guy is not connected with the world around him. And that's a really sad, heavy moment as well. And yeah, I like that.
It's exactly, again, that's the way I perceive the movie. Your character Breckin is, maybe we should talk about the definition, the previous title of the film, and what it means and how it's related to Breckin's character, because that basically is going to be my question. What was the first original title of the movie, Eric?
The movie was initially called Anhedonia, which I didn't know until we registered the script with the Guild that was the original title of Annie Hall, the Woody Allen film.
Okay.
And that's the definition, or of what affliction Breckin's character has, is this affliction called anhedonia.
So that character basically has a thing that it cannot feel any emotion like the rest of us. I hope that's not your case.
No, luckily enough, it's not. But yeah, anhedonia, just you don't feel happy, sad, you don't get enjoyment out of sex, money, job, music, things like that. And Casey, I mean, one of the reasons I think Casey doesn't see Jess when they first run into each other, or when they run into each other in their apartment, and he doesn't really connect with her until he sees her at the diner face-to-face, one-on-one, is because Casey has lived with this. And at that point now, his defense is just, screw it, I'm going to live in this box. And there's no reason to let people into the box because I can't feel it. And and as much love as I want to give, I don't get any of it back because I have this affliction and this shell essentially due to this affliction. So it doesn't surprise me at all when I was reading, I was like, it makes total sense that he would not see Jess, because what's the point? There are too many times I'm sure Casey has looked at a very pretty person and had a connection with them, or wanted to have a connection with them, but was unable to because of his issue. And when he finally runs into her, it literally takes someone going, hey, I'm right in front of you and I'm a person, say hi to me, where he goes, oh, okay, sorry, hi. Sorry, I forgot that we're in a society because I live in this box, and every now and then I have to open the door to the box. And also a big thing about Casey is he doesn't want the attention. So one of the things Eric and I talked about a lot was Casey pretends a lot. Casey pretends to smile because that's what everyone else is doing. So I'll do the reaction everyone else does because I don't want to be looked at. It's like when I don't drink. And if I go to a party, sometimes I will literally just hold a Coca-Cola in a smaller glass so nobody keeps asking me, oh, why don't you drink? What's going on? Are you sober? Are you alcoholic? Are you not sober? What? And Casey's like that.
There's some days I feel that, man. That's a mood.
Yeah,
straight
absolutely.
Up. A lot of times they always ask the question about like how much of the character you play influences you and back and forth. But I want to take a step back. I mean, when you're on set and there's a culture of the crew, everyone going to work in a dramedy, is that kind of a unique feeling? I'm going to start with you, Emily. Being on a dramedy, having those comedic elements, those serious elements, how is the culture on set responding in kind?
That's a great question. I mean, I hadn't really thought about if the set took on the mood of the show, but I guess in some ways it naturally did. I mean, we were shooting on location. So if we were shooting in a particular room, we were all in the house, not in that room where they were getting set up, but like in another area of the house. And I guess so, yeah. But I don't know that it was like a conscious thing, like we were trying to like create necessarily a certain like similar worlds over here where we were sitting waiting, but that just kind of happens naturally because you are in the waiting outside the diner we're going to shoot in, or you are in the house and next in one room we're waiting and then the next room over there we're getting ready to shoot. So kind of naturally I think that does happen.
Totally room for the jokes if need be, right?
Yeah. About the diner, Eric,
yes.
Isn't it the same diner they filmed the movie with Michael Douglas, Falling Down?
No, I don't think so.
It looks so much like this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of diners that get shot in Cleveland. Liam Neeson just shot in Cleveland for the Marksman, and I know that diner that he shot in. It's the tiniest little diner I've ever seen. And Cleveland's just one diner. It's a diner and a church on every corner, I think. So, so naturally, when they need a church or a diner, they come to Cleveland and they shoot. But yeah, definitely not. It was just this little diner. Guy could not have been nicer. Didn't charge us to be there. In fact, he fed the cast.
Yeah, they were very sweet. They were very
really nice guy. That's Cleveland. That's why we shoot there. My location budget on how much I actually spent to rent out locations was $300. Wow. So I had to pay a janitor to stay at the school that we shot in for like 2 days, and that was it.